Hi there, my name is Barry. I'm a New York State licensed psychotherapist and a professional spiritual intuitive. Today, I'm going to be talking about the second part on the subject of fear, which is the feeling of fear, which is very different. The emotion of fear is it's a reaction. It's like a heart stopping. Oh my God. Just think, you go to a scary movie, all of a sudden the monster comes out of the closet. That's an emotional reaction of fear. The feeling reaction of fear is very different. And I'm sure you've met people who carry fear as their dominant trait in life. Oh, I can't do that. I'm scared. Men and women can express that chronic type of fear as timidity. Wallflowers, great example. Oh, I would love to dance, but I'm afraid to go out on the floor. Basically, chronic fear, which is a feeling, results in either a free-floating fear of things. And I'm sure you've all met someone who, regardless of what you say, they say, oh, that sounds great, but no, I can't do that. That's good enough for you, but I can't do that. People who have chronic reaction to anything that's new, anything that's challenging, anything that's change with fear. Change is very scary. Any new situation, very frightening. And the chronic reaction is to say no. Now, I'm giving just global examples right now. Other reaction to chronic fear is anxiety. Some people, as I've said, react to being a scaredy cat as just wanting to keep things copacetic. They want to maintain the status quo and they want to stay comfortable. Yeah, they may lose out on something really great and fantastic, but they're comfortable, meaning they're safe. For people who don't react to fear that way, but have a different dynamic, what they tend to do is react to fear through anxiety. Now, some people, granted, have anxiety in specific situations. Everybody knows about the fear of public speaking. Pretty common. Or putting your name on a project because knowing you're going to be asked questions, you're going to be confronted. Being prominent, being visible, being known. Scary. These are specific examples. But for many, fear simply becomes anxiety. And it's free-floating anxiety, which means it's not attached to a specific subject or a specific event or circumstance. It just exists. Now, biologically, of course, if you're anxious all the time, you're probably going to end up with high blood pressure. You may have gastric issues. You may have different muscle tightness in different parts of your body. Different people carry fear in different ways. Everybody knows the person who has such tight shoulders, they're in agony. They carry the fear in their shoulders. Very, very common. People carry fear in their gut. Oh, I just can't eat anything. No, I can't have pepper. No, I can't have this. No, I can't have that. Because the fear, the anxiety, does not let the digestive system work well. Other people may carry it in their heart. Oh, they get heart palpitations. They have arrhythmia. Different strokes for different folks. But the bottom and underlying theme is that this is anxiety. And what is anxiety? It's fear shoved into the body, divorced from the original cause, so it just exists as anxiety, or AKA as fear. And this can be really, really crippling. It could be anywhere from just having a mild, rapid heartbeat, butterflies in the stomach. But that's usually an emotional reaction, so bad example. But people who are, no, I can't wear red because then I'll be noticed. Really scary. And for other people, it's not an issue at all. But for many, the anxiety goes on and becomes greater. And this free-floating anxiety becomes panic attacks. And when you're the type of person who carries so much anxiety that just out of the blue, you have a panic attack, and consciously you have no idea why, because the anxiety is not attached to a specific subject, but rather just occurs. And then your heart races, you think you're getting a heart attack, you end up in the hospital. Or people live constantly on medication to keep them calm, or are constantly taking tranquilizers. There's so many things. There's a huge medical industry based on dealing with anxiety. And I've had clients who have had such severe anxiety that they have panic attacks and they end up in the hospital. What I generally do is, assuming they're not having the attack in the moment, is I help them go down and get a sense where in their body they tend to store this anxiety, fear. And once they do, I let them express how they experience it. It can be a visualization, it can be a sound, it can be a temperature, anything. And once they do, I ask them to go into the middle of it. Try to concretize it. Put words to whatever this fear is. And for some, it'll be very easy, very natural. Others, it's difficult. So for those for whom it does not come natural, I tend to guide them and help them. I tell them my experience. This is the way I see it now. Why don't you put it into your own words? That generally helps a lot. And once they start understanding where this all comes from, then they can start to deal with the underlying pattern of why they're having all of this fear, all of this free-floating anxiety in the first place. And once they can rid it from their system, then they don't need to have panic attacks anymore. Sounds easy, but sometimes it is actually, and sometimes it's not. I mean, I remember I had one client who was actually having a full-blown anxiety attack when he came to see me, and that's why he came to see me. And in the act of bringing him down for him, is in his gut and finding out what's going on, he found the real cause, he released it, and the anxiety left, at least in that moment. Now, had he come back for ongoing work, we could have dealt into the deeper layers, because what happens is, use the example of an onion. Most people's psyches are multi-layered, like an onion. And a lot of therapies just deal with the outer layer or two. They don't really know how to get down to the core. And unless you get down to the core, you're basically doing symptom reduction or symptom removal, but you're not actually helping to repair the person, helping to repair the damage that is being carried. So what I do is, you have to deal with the outer layers, the presenting problems, as it's called in psychology. But it's more important to go down underneath that as soon as you can and try to get at what is the deeper dynamic, what is the true cause, not just what is the expression. When people take medication, it doesn't deal with the cause, just masks it so that people don't have to deal with it, they don't experience it, they don't express it. But it's still there. And in many ways, even though you're on medicine, it still eats away on the inside, because when you shove any negative emotion down into the body, it stores there. And just like any rotten food that putrefies, the energy putrefies. And eventually, most people will develop an illness of one kind or another. So the object is to go and really cleanse whatever is on the inside and to replace it with something light and positive. A belief system in energy. Many times I help the client to connect with their own concept of the divine, if they have one, and bring that energy in. Sometimes if they don't, I can just bring pure white light in. And people universally experience it as sort of warmth and positivity, calmness, peace, which, whether it's from a divine source or not, doesn't matter. It helps and it heals. So these are some of the different aspects of anxiety. You must have seen people, some people have tics. Tics are just an expression of anxiety that they don't know how to deal with. Or nervous habits. Everybody's seen a nail biter. Or people who are constantly fidgeting. The amount of expressions of fear is myriads. I couldn't even begin to go into it. But who knows, you may have one of these yourself. But the object is to look at the fear. And then the expression can be diminished and can go away because it's not needed anymore. So, fear on a chronic basis can be debilitating. It can be constricting to the point where you're just too scared to try anything new. Oh, I hate my job. I can't stand it. I hate my boss. I hate my coworkers. I hate what I have to do. Oh no, I'm not going to change jobs. Who knows what I'll get into? No, much better to have the evil I know than the evil that I don't know. And that's the philosophy of so many people who live in fear. And if you live in strength and courage, then you can say, you know, I can handle it. I don't need to be tortured like this anymore. I'll go out and I'll get something better. And if it's not better, I'll leave and I'll get something else. That's assuming the economy is okay, but that's another story. But people who have that inner strength, who don't have that fear and anxiety, feel comfortable to go out and get something better for themselves. So again, just to recap, in chronic fear, which can be either debilitating, paralyzing, anxiety promoting, get at the cause. Find out what's really going on. Is it a pattern of insecurity, a lack of self-love, a lack of love in childhood from the parents, because that's where all security comes from in the first place? And help connect with people with that sense of love, that sense of peace, that sense of strength. Just very briefly, in the first chakra, which is the root, I find that that's where the sense of self-love lives. And there's a lot of sense of self and confidence and feeling good. And when I bring people down there, no matter how anxious they are, while they're down there, the anxiety goes away. They feel okay. And of course, the object is to help get them to stay in that place, ultimately on a permanent basis. I could just go on and on. But anyway, that's a little overview of the subject of fear on a chronic basis. So thank you. I hope this has been informative and helpful for you. And until the next time, bye.